Welcome back, friends, to another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Lids87 here, and today I am bringing you guys another How Worthy Are They video. A series where I go over units on upcoming banners to see how worthy they are of your precious tickets and or gems. Before I get into it though, friends, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and shoutouts where shoutouts are due. Rum's Database, Materiabot Compendium, and the Tomeberry Troop. Links will be down below in the description. Now, upon making this video, I did make this before the Square community livestream, so no confirmations in terms of the date of Divine Diabolos, aka Ramza's LD and Burst weapons, and or if there's going to be free multi-draws on this banner or not. So if it is before the 3rd year anniversary campaign, I don't see them giving us free multi-draws, but if it is a part of the 3rd year anniversary campaign, the actual campaign, I could potentially see us getting free multi-draws, so we will have to wait for official confirmation. And I did want to bring this up ahead just so I'm not flooding YouTube with videos covering the Global First LD character, their recap, and if you guys should be pulling for that Global First LD. So please forgive me in that terms, and we're just going to have to wait and see for the official confirmation. But on this actual event, Ramza's LD and Burst weapons are coming into the game. He is the next unit to be receiving an LD and Burst weapon. There's going to be two banners. There's going to be this banner, and there's going to be another banner with Machina's LD weapon. Now, going forward, when a Burst character is introduced, no longer will their LD be on two different banners. There's going to be one banner with their LD and Burst, and the second is going to be a different character's LD weapon, unless they decide to switch things up, or possibly once we start getting into double LD banners. All right, friends, so in this video, I will be talking about Ramza. I'm going to be recapping Ramza, and then I'm just going to talk about Machina's boards, which he's going to be receiving once Divine Diabolos debuts in the game. So those of you not familiar with Ramza, let's go ahead and talk about him. He is a character from Final Fantasy Tactics, a Yellow Crystal Affinity character, and he is a melee type support attacker in the game, primarily a support character. He's going to be receiving a rework LD and Burst weapon. Now, those already familiar with Ramza would like to skip ahead. There's going to be timestamps down below in the time frame, description, and or comments. Just later portions in the video. Sure, I know some viewers like to skip ahead. Anybody else not familiar with Ramza, I am going to be recapping what he does. Ramza's first ability, it is called Shout. Now, with the rework, this will instantly break the target regardless of how much Brave they have. Ramza has mastered the Thune. He is Dragonborn. Alright, so let's go back to Skyrim. Also, upon using Shout, this will heal his Brave by 100% of attack. This will grant him 1 stack of Shout to himself, followed by a 3-hit melee Brave plus HP attack at a 60% Brave potency per Brave hit. Shout, it is a 8-turn buff on Ramza, stackable buff. Max stacks is at 3. Now, the stats will not increase depending on how many stacks he has. It's going to be the same amount across all 3 stacks. The only difference is his HP attack will be upgraded, and his EX ability will be based off of his Shout buff. So he's going to give himself 70% up to attack, 50% up to max Brave, 30% up to speed, and his upgraded HP attack plus. Upon using this will not increase the turn count. His second ability, Galvanize, he's going to heal the party's Brave by 70% of attack. He can now heal HP by 20% of individual party members' max HP, so this can come in handy. It's not a very potent heal. I mean, 20%, that's not bad, so I wouldn't treat him as your primary healer, but having HP healing will come in handy. He will grant himself 1 stack of Pep, another buff on him, and he's going to grant your party members generic buffs, so an attack up buff and a Brave regen buff. This attack up buff is for 9 turns, and the potency for this is 50%. The Brave regen is going to be 60% of Int Brave for 9 turns. That Pep buff that we just talked about, it is a 9-turn buff on Ramza, stackable buff just like Shout. Max stacks is at 3. Same concept in terms of the stats. They're not going to increase. They're going to stay the same across all of them. This will affect his Brave attack, so he's going to give the party with Pep 20% up to attack and 60% to max Brave. So it's an aura-wide buff on Ramza that affects the entire party. His Brave attack upgraded to Brave attack plus once you're at 3 stacks of Pep. Now, this is going to heal the party's Brave by 60% of attack, heal the party's HP by 50% of Brave damage dealt with a max HP limit of 10%, so there's a little bit more HP healing. And just like HP attack plus, Brave attack plus will not increase the turn count. Ramza's additional ability is going to increase his own attack by 30% for 4 turns. His call action is Galvanized Call. He's going to come in, he's going to Brave Heal the party. He's going to heal the party members, individual party members' HP by 10% of their max HP, and then he will grant your party 2 generic buffs, 50% to attack and 60% of Int Brave, Brave Regen for 4 turns. Let's talk about Ramza's EX ability, Innervate +++. This does recharge at a fast rate. Now, again, like I did mention earlier, Innervate is based off of how many stacks of Shout he has, so I am going to talk about his max stacks of Shout for Innervate, so that's going to be Innervate +++. He's going to self-Brave Heal by 150% of his own attack. 6-hit melee Brave plus HP attack with an 80% HP splash. He's going to heal allies Brave by 50% of HP damage dealt. Heal his own Brave by 30% of HP damage dealt. And any current existing Shout buffs that he has, he is going to extend it by 2 turns. So just a nice way to prolong the Shout buff on Ramza, so you don't have to burn through your Shout buff or your Shout ability. And he will also inflict Innervate on all the targets. Innervate, it is a 6-turn debuff, attack and defense by 20% and 10% speed down. Now, something of note to take interest, something to note is that when the quest starts, this will grant the party the generic attack up in Brave Regen, and this will grant Ramza 1 stack of Pep and Shout. So you just got to use either or of those abilities 2 more times to be at 3 stacks of Pep and or Shout. After maxing out Ramza's EX weapon, you will gain access to a D-type bonus sphere. When the wielder of this bonus sphere, when they have 3 or more buffs, this will increase the party's Int Brave and Max Brave by 5%. Time to introduce you guys to one of Ramza's new weapons. That's going to be his LD weapon with his LD ability, Winter Storm. I cannot pronounce that first part of it. What is it? Liado? Winter Storm. So what that is, it is a 4-hit AoE melee Brave plus HP split attack executed 2 times, hitting at a 90% Brave potency per Brave hit. If there is a single target, the Brave damage is going to be increased by 60%. This is going to heal the party Brave by 20% of HP damage dealt, delay all the targets by 1 turn, initiate a chase sequence, grant 1 stack of Shout and Pep on Ramza, and this will grant him a special effect, Sunset Leaf Flute to Ramza. Sunset Leaf Flute, it is a special effect on Ramza for 16 turns that is going to increase the party's Int Brave by 40%, increase the party's gained Brave Overflow by 30%, and give the party a Brave Regen of 40% of their Int Brave. So going forward, characters are going to be introduced with their LD boards. What that is on a character boards, there's going to be a 4th path that branches right down the middle, so you got to use points to unlock all those nodes. Now that path is going to improve the LD ability, and it will give you access to an LD call action. So just like the standard call actions, when you use it, the character comes in, does whatever call action is assigned to their standard call action. For a character, they're going to come in, for a character's LD call action, they're going to come in and use their LD ability. So with Ramza's LD boards, what this is going to do for Winter Storm itself is this is going to increase the Brave potency by 80%, increase the Stolen Overflow by 30%, and this will heal Ramza's Brave by 20% of HP damage dealt after the first HP attack. Now with the LD call action, Winter Storm, Ramza's going to come in, do that AoE melee Brave plus AoE HP attacks, executed twice. Brave heal the party by 20% of HP damage dealt, delay all the targets, and initiate a chase sequence. So even if Ramza is not on your team, this is a beautiful call action because of the utility that it brings, because of the delay, because of the chase and the Brave battery towards your party. Ramza's burst weapon, his burst ability or his finished burst is Ultima. His burst effect, it is a 5-turn party-wide burst effect. Now the stats are going to be increased based on the total active buffs on all the party members. So it's going to increase Int Brave, Max Brave, and attack by 5% per buff, with a limit being at 90%, and this is going to increase the Brave damage limit per buff by 2% up to 13,598. Now, although I do prefer Brave damage up types of burst effects, this can come in handy in terms of the massive stats onto your party members, because Ramza increases your party members' stats on top of this additional 90%. Your party members are going to hit harder. They're going to be able to dump out more HP, especially if they have lower Max Brave, and they will get a beefier Brave regen because of the increase in Imp Brave. Not only that, allowing your party members to exceed the Brave damage limit per buff up to 13,598, just allowing them to cap out faster. So not a bad burst. Would I go ham for it? We're going to talk about that later in this video, but again, I still prefer Brave damage up, but this can come in handy in certain situations. Ramza's 7-star armor, it's going to be coming with the support keystone, so increase party's attack by 5% and increase the party's held Brave and HP damage limit by 5%. Not a bad 7-star armor to pick up. I usually like to prioritize your attackers 7-star armor first, and then armors like this that have party-wide effects. Pros and cons about Ramza is, first and foremost, this dude, he's mastered the freaking Thune, alright? He is Dragonborn because he can instantly break a target with his shout. Now, this is just an enemy's Brave, okay? This does not work on shields, so keep that in mind if an enemy shields themselves. Great battery, free turns with his upgraded Brave attack plus, HP attack plus, so that'll come in handy with the tighter turn. Lufenia's delay, chase, even more battery during the chase, or as he initiates the chase sequence, and massive buffs towards your party with his burst effect. Cons about Ramza is that he can heal HP now, but it's not very potent. He's not a very potent HP healer, so I would not set him as your primary HP healer, but it can come in handy, especially if, I don't know, you can avoid damage in some way, shape, or form. I don't know, with Gladio, it'll come in handy in certain situations here or there, but him being able to HP heal, that's nice, but again, not a potent HP healer. And he does take a few turns to get rolling, so to say, so be very careful. Don't let his buffs fall off, because you're going to have to start all over, and it's going to take him a few turns to get back up there. Now, I do want to quickly just go over Machina, what he's going to be getting with his LD boards. He is going to be on the other banner, and he is going to be receiving some love in terms for his LD boards. When using his Stunning Slash, that is his LD ability, he's going to inflict Spiral Lunchpin for 4 turns before the actual attack. So before in the past, he couldn't do this, so you had to use his LD ability. He would just do the damage, back off, and with his Spiral Lunchpin, whenever he attacks a target that has this debuff on them, Machina will do a follow-up attack. The fact that he can now inflict it is he can now do this follow-up with his LD ability right off of the bat. So now, with his Stunning Slash, there's going to be 2 sets of AoE melee Brave plus HP attack. The total Brave potency is going to be increased by 80%, so he's going to be hitting a little bit harder. And with the follow-up attacks, with the Spiral's Linchpin debuff, is that he will heal Brave by 70% of attack before the actual attack, so just more HP dump on the enemies. With his LD boards, he will also be gaining access to Stunning Slash LD call action. So he's going to come in, do Stunning Slash, he's going to inflict Spiral Linchpin on the targets for 4 turns, but only keep in mind that only Machina can do the follow-up upon attacking that enemy. And he will give the caller a special effect of 6 turns that will increase that caller's attack by 40%. So what you're going to be doing, if Machina is not on your team, you use the LD call action, use it first, and then use his standard call action, because that way Machina will be able to do the follow-up attack by attacking the target inflicted with Spiral's Linchpin. We are at that portion of the video, friends. How worthy are they? How worthy is Machina's LD and Ramza's LD and Burst of your precious tickets and or gems? Now, I will be valuing each banner on my worth meter on their own, as they are 2 different banners, and it really depends on which banner you want to go on. If you have Machina's LD from before, you don't need to go on Machina's banner. You can just chase Ramza's LD and potentially burst on Ramza's banner or the other burst banners that Ramza's burst weapon is on. So starting off with Machina, let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at Machina in terms of his LD weapon. Now, first and foremost, this is going to be a new type of divine summon. So there's going to be divine boards. Having synergy characters, so Maria, Pain, Machina, Ramza, and the other units on Ramza's banners are going to increase the amount of points you receive in order to use for the divine boards. It's only the super synergy that gives you points. Okay, no longer the 3 times tome does not work. So the more synergy characters you have, the more points you will receive. So if you want to chase Ramza for that reason alone, you don't want to grind as hard, hey, that is perfectly fair. But Machina with his LD, just himself, I would say he is somewhat worthy of your resources. Now again, upon making this video, there's no official confirmation if we will be receiving a free multi-draw on this banner or not. So Machina, I'm going to say this really depends on what you're looking for. So although Machina doesn't have any form of utility built into his kit, he more than makes up for it as an attacker. Machina's thing is dealing follow-up damage to enemies inflicted with his LD debuff, Spiral Linchpin. As long as the enemy is inflicted with that debuff, Machina will always have a follow-up attack when he attacks that target. Now this is nice, as Machina has the capabilities of taking multiple turns in a row and deal some nice AoE HP damage. But this is also bad, as you can burn through his abilities if you're not careful, or bad in the Lufenian era, because if you do not meet the special counter increase condition, you are going to burn right through that special counter. Unless it's some form of elemental brave damage that you can enhance Machina with, he will be perfect for those runs. So it really depends if you need a melee attacker. So if you need one, Machina is not a bad pickup. If you are hurting on resources, you can skip out on him for now. See what the global first LD character is going to be. If you already have him, you are safe for your resources, but that doesn't mean Machina is bad. He's a pretty good melee attacker as long as you can meet that special counter for the Lufenia. Let's talk about Ramza now with his LD and burst weapon. So the other synergy characters are going to be Freya and Ida. Rip Ida global first if she's not the global first LD character, and I just mentioned her in my video. So his burst weapon, I'm going to say somewhat worthy of your resources. His LD is higher on the worthy of your tickets and or gems. So Ramza is a great melee support type character with party buffs built into his kit. Now I'm looking this way because my notes are right over there. His shout being able to insta-break all the targets will come in very handy, although be mindful that he only has 5 uses of this and he does not grant himself free ability uses, so be very careful you don't burn right through that. Acting for free with his upgraded Brave Attack +++, HP Attack +++ will help you with the tighter turn Lufenia stages. He can't HP heal now, but he's not a very potent HP healer, so depending on the situation, especially if the enemy does a lot of HP attacks, I would not make him your primary HP healer, so be very careful in those situations. Where he is truly going to shine is with his LD being able to delay all the targets by 1 turn, followed by initiating a chase sequence while braving your party. This is going to be carried through even with his LD call action, so he doesn't have to be on your team. You can use his LD call action to do the exact same thing, so that utility will come in very handy when he is not on your team, and this is going to be great for chase team compositions. Now his burst is nice to have, like we've always been saying, his burst weapons are the cherry on top, but I wouldn't go ham for it unless you're an absolute fan or you need to make up for it for the lack of burst on your team compositions. Now let me give you some examples. Let's say you have yourself a chase comp, but you don't have Cloud's burst weapon. Hey, Ramza's burst will come in handy. Potentially other Lufenia stages, for example, like Dimensions End, Transcendence 3, Left Gates, instead of running Leo because there's 3 dinosaurs in order to increase the special counter. You need to initiate a chase sequence, but you need a yellow crystal affinity character. During that time, Leo gets his LD and burst weapons, so Ramza came in very handy there. Or during boss rushes, having a burst character on your team composition can come in handy there. Or not even Transcendence 3. Let me go back to that. Even on Transcendence 1, on the right gate, Ramza came in extremely handy there. So again, having the burst weapon is nice to have, the cherry on top. But the massive stat increases are pretty nice, but if you have someone else's burst weapon like Cloud's Lightning or even Paladin Cecil later down the line, I would rather use those than Ramza. So again, friends, it's really going to come down to what you have planned out for your team compositions. If you want to go with the chase team and you don't have a burst weapon, hey, that extra LD abilities for Ramza with the chase, the delay, with the battery, it will come in handy. But if I were to pick, I would primarily go for his LD weapon. Lids, I don't give a damn. All right, Ramza reminds me of Skyrim. Okay, he reminds me of the Dragonborn. He has the Thune. I want his burst weapon. So which is the best burst banner to chase Ramza's burst weapon on? Now, keep in mind that I seriously believe that Ramza's burst weapon will be with the global LD first character. So that might influence the decision once we learn who that global first LD character is going to be and what they're going to be bringing into the game. So pay close attention for my recap or when I cover that global first LD character, because it might change. But aside from that, with the knowledge we do have right now, Ramza is going to be featured on different banners. So of course his debut banner with alongside Machina, alongside Caius, and alongside Guy. Now, I'm not really a fan of any of these banners, but if you had to pick one, I would say the Caius banner, because this guy, he does have some utility built into his kit. You know, he's a melee attacker with debos built into his kit. He's a delayer, he's a launcher with battery, and he can cancel the enemy's break status and then break them again. So having some kind of utility melee debuffer on your team compositions can come in handy, especially if you don't have someone that can do what Caius does. All right, friends, so that's what I'm saying. Out of these 4 banners, I'm going to pick the Caius banner, but that can change once we find out about the global first LD character. And of course, I will go more in depth on Caius once he gets his LD in the game. That is it for this video, friends. I want to thank you guys for watching my How Worthy Are They, recapping Ramza and going over Machina's LD boards. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments what you guys are going to be doing for this banner. Oh man, how hyped are you guys? 3rd year anniversary, it's almost here. But me personally, what I'm going to be doing is I already have Machina's LD weapon, so no concerns for that banner. I will be going for Ramza's LD. I wanna throw a bunch of tickets. Gems are going for the global first LD character, so it's possible I could pick up Ramza's burst weapon there. So the debut banner, I am thinking bunch of tickets. I need that LD. Hopefully RNG won't take a huge chunk of my gems. But if I cannot get Ramza's burst weapon while chasing for that global first LD character, I will be using my burst tokens. So I do want Ramza's burst weapon in my inventory. I do like Ramza. He's pretty cool. I do want to use him on different team compositions. All right, friends, so that is my own personal plans. Let me know your own personal plans down below in the comments. All right, friends, so until next time, good luck, happy grinding during Divine Diabolos, and have a good one.